Hi there. In this video, we are going to look at the batch engine again, but this time we are going to process a much bigger file. Um, I want to show you the real power of the batch engine, which you can see when you're processing a much bigger file. So let's look at, so I have the batch engine still running here on my machine. And let's look at the file, the address list we want to process today. So this is the file I want to process. So let me open that in Notepad. So as you can see, this again is a comma separated, a flat file, contains just about a few fields. So it has address fields here, the unit number, street number, the street name, the locality, postcode, and the state. So these are all the address lines we want to process today. Verify, and if a match is found, we want to get the DPID and also look at the ASGS data. So I'm going to scroll down to look at the number of records. So it's got about 35,229 minus the header record. So this and this is all real data. So I would expect most of them to be verifiable address, and some of them could be invalid addresses, in which case we shouldn't assign a DPID. So that's the input file. So let me quickly check the mapping file to make sure it's all good. It is. So going back to the batch engine, so it's the batch engine, the status says it's ready to start. It's looking at the queue in queue, and it's ready to start. So I'm going to copy and paste the input files here. So copy and go back to this folder, paste, and wait for a second for the file to pick up by the batch engine, which it did. And it's initializing the engine, and it started off processing the file. So what do you see here? So because the file size is big this time, the batch engine has actually spawned 4 different threads. So it has broken the input file into 4 chunks, and it is processing all the 4 chunks in parallel at the same time. So this way, the overall speed of the processing will be increased almost by 4-fold. So as you can see, each of the thread is making progress. So this is the number of records processed versus the total number of records in the chunk. And this is the total number processed versus the total number in the input file. And it also keeps count of the lapse time. So in about a minute, it has processed 4,000 records, 30,000 more to go. So I'm going to take a small pause here. I'm going to pause the video and come back as we get closer to the finish line. So let me pause here. So we are about 3 minutes into the process time, and it's looks like it's a little bit more than 50% is done. So we are about a little more than 5.5 minutes, and we are getting really close to the finish line here. A couple of more thousand to go. 6 minutes. Yep, cool. So oh, it's completed in about 7 minutes or so. So the output file should be available here now. So if you see here, it's actually produced 4 sets of output files uh, because it split the input file into 4 chunks. So if I open the first file, let me sort it here. So let me open this in Excel. So this is the address output file. Excel is opening on my second screen here. Waiting for it to bringing the Excel to this screen. Again, let's adjust the field width. So see here, this the input fields coming over from the input file, and from this column onwards, it's the address verify fields, formatted address, and the DPID and the barcode. So if I scroll down, let you, uh, you can see each chunk has about let me go to the end, 8,000 over 8,000 records. So most of them looks like it's a match, and you can here and there you can see there are some matches, some no matches as well. So that's the address output file. So let's have a quick look at we open this one at the ASGS file. So this is the ASGS file. So again, it has the DPID and all the different ASGS fields here. So if I go to the end, it's so that's the ASGS data. Don't say close the file, and I can also quickly look at the backend data table because I couldn't note down the total time. I'm going to check the total time it took. The backend table where the job ID and the job is logged. So database to open up. So here I'm looking at the batch engine job table. So you see this is the job we processed now, and it has 35,000 records, and it has taken 6 minutes and 24 seconds to complete the process. So that concludes the demo using the batch engine to process a big file containing 35,000 records. It took 6.5 minutes. Thank you for your time.